A lot of us handmade sellers think that we need more motivation to run our business as well, but that's actually not the case. We need better structure. So in this video, we'll be talking about 6 ways to level up your handmade business. We're talking scaling, systems, and also protecting your business for the long term. So throughout this video, I'll be giving you examples for other handmade businesses other than Bath & Body. That's what I do. We'll also be talking about some resources that I actually use myself, and there's a bonus at the end, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Before we dive in, it'd be kind of rude to not introduce myself. My name is Sharmise Idris, and here on my channel, I talk about all things Bath & Body business, and I've been running my own Bath & Body business for almost 7 years. 7 years, that's crazy. 7 years next month, but let's go ahead and dive into this video. The first way to level up your handmade business is to stop treating it like a side hustle. And by side hustle, I mean you only work your business when you have time left over in your day, or you feel inspired, that's the only time you do it, or you do just enough to say that you have a business. I know I'm talking to somebody, because I'm actually talking to myself a little bit. But the best way to stop treating your business like a side hustle is to create repeatable systems. A repeatable system is basically like a checklist that future you or someone you hire can follow without asking like 57 questions on how to do it. So you can have systems for making your products, for shipping your products, for doing customer service, or packaging your products, systems for those things. You can also have a system where you batch your work. So you can have work days where you do only making products, or you only ship on certain days. So for example, every weekend I have to make at least 300 bath bombs, sometimes up to 1,000 for my wholesale business. I want to be able to do this and still live my life, so I have systems for it. So on Friday, I take about an hour, I prep all of the ingredients, weigh them out in their individual containers for the scents, and then I also lay out all of the molds and put all the florals in there just to prep it to make it on Saturday morning. And then I go live my life on Friday evening, date night, something like that. And then on Saturday morning, I get up, make the bath bombs. That maybe takes like 2 hours. And then I can go to the farmer's market or something else. It has to sit overnight anyway. Sunday morning, I package them all up. And that's it. It's the same thing. I know exactly what I have to do every weekend, and it works. It's a great system. And then I also have a system for fulfilling packages. So on Mondays and Thursdays, I fulfill my wholesale orders. I'm not doing it every day. I'm not Amazon. I'm not doing it. So Monday, Thursday, I fulfill the orders. Tuesday, Friday, I ship them off. Systems really remove friction and headaches from my life. So I know exactly what I'm supposed to do on exactly what day I'm supposed to do it. Of course, life gets in the way sometimes, but we work around that. But generally, systems work great. Another way to stop treating your handmade business like a side hustle is to track your inventory. And I don't just mean your products, I mean your materials as well. And this is great for those made to order folks, because you don't want to say that you can make this amount of something and you don't even have the amount of materials. And then somebody buys it, you go to the store for the materials aren't there. And then you have to either decline the sale or use some other type of materials that you haven't used in the past. It's not a good customer experience. You may get a negative review or just a person who will not return. So just make sure you track your inventory, and you also don't want to sell something that you already sold, especially for my folks doing markets and pop-up shops. You can use websites like Inventora or Crafty Base for this. I've used both of those. They're both great. You can also have your own simple spreadsheet, or you can go on Etsy, type in inventory tracker, and buy one from there. The second way to level up your handmade business is to clean up your money, okay? All right, so the first way you can do that is separate your personal expenses from your business expenses. So get a business bank account. The 3 banks that I actually used, one is a brick and mortar, it's Chase, it's well known. Love her down. I also use it for my personal bank account as well. But then also you can use Relay or Bluevine if you're okay with online banks. I love both of them. I have both of them. And they actually have separate bank accounts under your account if you want to be able to separate your money. But we'll get into why you should do that a little bit later. Next up, money-wise, you want to figure out your cost of goods. So how much your product costs to make and how much profit you make off of that. So you need to figure out your ingredient costs, packaging costs, labor, because people forget the labor costs because you got to pay yourself, and then the fees. So I have a free Etsy fee calculator. I'll link that below. And I also have a soap and cosmetics pricing calculator. I will link that as well. We're still in this money section because of course we're running a business. Money is important. So make sure you're tracking your business expenses. You can use like something like QuickBooks or Wave. I use QuickBooks Self-Employed. I've been using it since my photography business days, like 10 years ago. Dang, okay, time. So just make sure you're tracking your expenses because you also need to pay taxes. And actually, speaking of, make sure you're setting your tax money aside. You can use Relay or Bluevine since they have those separate bank accounts. You can have like a little tax bank account so that you are not dipping into your tax money because you're going to have to pay that next year. And last but certainly not least for this section, learn to pay yourself and get profit with intention. So don't just pay yourself what's left over. I tried it. There was nothing left over. So make sure you learn to pay yourself. I highly recommend the book Profit First for that. I will always recommend that book because for the first 5 years of my business, I was not paying myself properly or at all for real. So definitely check out the book Profit First if you want to learn how to pay yourself because we love what we do, but bills also need to be paid. The third way you can level up your handmade business is to scale in a way that works for you. So I'm going to give you a couple different ways, but handmade business is a big umbrella. So they may not all work, but hopefully one of them does. At least one should work for you. But my favorite way, the easiest way I find to scale my business is to offer different scents or colors of the same thing that I already offer. So if I make body butters, I may expand that to a different scent of body butter. You may have your top 3, but maybe just add a 4th, add a masculine scent or something like that and see if that works. And then also with the same thing, I like to have the same product, but a different way to package it. So I'll put some pictures on the screen, but I have 3 ways of selling my bath salts and all 3 ways actually sell. They just sell to different people. So I have people who buy the tubes for party favors. I have people who buy the jars just for their own self-care. And then my bath salt bags are for wholesale. You can also offer related products. So if you do wedding invitations, maybe you also want to offer save the dates or menu cards or something wedding related because as a bride myself, I wanted everything to match. So think about that. You can also do seasonal or holiday products. Some other things you can think of is offering like a bundle, a curated set, or like a gift box. So for my bath and body people, we love putting a little gift box together with stuff we already make. And it still sells and you don't have to add more products. You're just making a set of something you already make. Sometimes in order to grow, you actually have to eliminate some things. So audit your products, get rid of any low performing but high maintenance products or adjust them to where they're not so high maintenance and they actually sell. But you actually might be losing money. So for example, if it's your first year selling candles, you may not need 45 different scents of candle. You may not even have the space for that and you may be losing money because they don't sell. So maybe break those down, maybe start with 10, maybe go up to 15 or 7, something like that. Your best way to scale might just be by raising your prices. Maybe you lowballed yourself in the beginning and you're not even making any profit. You're just trying to make some sales. But you need to raise those prices because you can't stay in business that way. Also, material costs go up. You need to raise those prices. Demand grows. You can raise the price. If your skill level goes up, for my furniture makers out there, you should be getting better over time, so you should be charging more over time. So yes, you may need to raise your prices if demand supports it. And just 2 more things for this section. I feel like I've been in this section for a while, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. But one of the 2 things you can do is to get your own website. If you sell on Etsy and you have your own audience, or you sell somewhere and you actually have your own audience that are just coming to get your stuff, maybe you should drive your own traffic to your own website. You can do that to scale your business. And second, if you have the capacity and the pricing structure to support it, maybe look into wholesale. I sell on Fair. I will probably never not sell on Fair as long as I'm selling wholesale. It's an introvert's dream. I'll probably do a video about that. I need to do a video about that. But yes, look into wholesale if you have the capacity in the pricing structure. The fourth way to level up your handmade business is to protect your handmade business and yourself. So you want licenses, permits, and insurance. As far as licenses and permits go, I'm in Greenville, South Carolina, and I went to the city website, county, Secretary of State, and IRS.gov to figure out what I needed for where I am. But if you don't want to do all that, I understand. You can go to like LegalZoom or Taylor Brands to get that figured out for you and get your business legit. And you also need insurance. I know we leave that out a lot, but you actually need insurance because growing your business without having protection is hella risky. And one bad situation can ruin years of work in your business. So that's why I partnered with Next Insurance for this portion of the video. Next Insurance is built specifically for businesses like ours. They offer general liability insurance, which of course is essential if you're selling products online, doing markets, doing pop-up shops, you do some wholesale or work with retailers. You definitely need general liability insurance. And to my candle makers, they got you covered too. Because I know people don't really like to cover candle makers, but you can get a quote real quick in 6 minutes actually from Next Insurance. Everything is online. You know, my introverted self does not want to get on the phone. So it is great that everything can be done online. You can get full coverage in like 11 minutes. So check them out. I'll put the link in the description. Of course, they're affordable because I wouldn't recommend them if they were not. So check out that link. Just make sure you are protecting your business because there's no point of growing it if you're not going to protect it. Now that we've made sure that our business is protected, let's move on to number 5, which is upgrading your brand presence. So in one of my previous videos, I talked about brand identity, making sure you have similar fonts or the same fonts throughout whatever you do, same colors, consistent labels, consistent packaging. And if we're talking in cosmetics, I have plenty of videos about labels and packaging, so make sure you check those out. I'll link the playlist for you in the cards and in the description, but you want to have a consistent brand identity throughout whatever you do. And then you also want to make sure you have strong photos because your product photography might be the first impression a lot of people get of your brand. So you want to have clean backgrounds, you want to have good lighting, natural lighting works, and you actually don't have to use a fancy camera, of course. There are so many tutorials these days with product photography on your phone. I even have a couple here on my channel if you want to check them out. So just make sure you have nice, clean, strong photos. And then once you do those photos well, people might be clicking on your stuff. Make sure you have a clear description. Now I know that some people don't read the descriptions, especially on Etsy. It's a problem. It's a problem. But for people like me, please have a clear description. You want to say who it is, not who it is, who it's for, what it is, and how to use the product. Because if I have to ask and I try to look for it, I'm just going to leave because it messes up my whole impulse buy experience. So just make sure you clarify all of that. And then just as a bonus for this section, make sure that if you have a website that it is mobile friendly. So I've seen a lot of like overlapping text and images that aren't supposed to be overlapping. It does look a little scammy. You don't want to look like a website that steals credit card information. I'm sorry, but you don't. Just make sure if you're designing it, you toggle back and forth between that desktop and that mobile view, or you're having somebody design it. They should be doing that anyway. But yes, because a lot of people are looking at your website on their phone, even though, oh, I designed mine for the desktop and it looks so beautiful, but it's cool on the phone, I guess. All right, we have arrived at the 6th tip. Don't forget there is a bonus actually after this, but for this one, we are building our own audience. This one is huge, especially if you're on Etsy or some other marketplace, because the truth is, Etsy is not your audience. TikTok is not your audience. Instagram is not your audience, because at any time, any of these platforms can change their algorithm and it can slow down your traffic or bring it to a complete stop, or you can actually lose your whole shop. I've been there. It was a tough couple hours. I don't like glitches. I don't like that. Etsy, anyway, I got it back, but still, I didn't know. I didn't know if it was coming back. So build your own audience. One way you can build your own audience is by having your own website. It could be a very simple website, but on this website, you can start building your email list if you haven't already. And no, email lists are not outdated, because emails aren't outdated. I've heard that a lot. that they are outdated. But I just started, and boy, it's going great because it's like emails that I own, and they've opted in to hear from me. And so I don't have to fight through algorithms or anything like that. I can just email my folks. They can see when I'm having a sale. They can see when I have new products, or if it's my content. Some of you guys are on my email list. You can check it out if you want to. You can go ahead and join my email list. But yes, email lists are not outdated because, I mean, most of us check emails, right? Some ways to build your email list. You can have a pop-up on your site, like says 10% off. And if you put in your email here and then send them the 10% off code, so then you have their email, they have opted in, or they check, like at checkout, there's like a little box they can check to opt into your email list. You can do that. You can have the little card inserts when you're shipping your products. You can have a QR code on there. They scan it, get like 15% off if they enter their email. Boom, there's the code for the next time. Or if you are on TikTok, Instagram, or any of those, drive your followers to your website to sign up to your email list, or just drive them to sign up to your email list. You can also build your audience locally. So when I first started off, I started doing pop-up shops, markets, community events. People around here did not know me for selling soap because I had just started selling soap. I had to introduce myself to them. They knew me for doing photography or for being a dance teacher. So those pop-ups and things really introduced me to, like, oh, okay, she's the one that I can go to for that turmeric soap. Boom. So yes. Local, great. Another way to build your audience locally is to work with event planners or party planners in your area if you have like smaller things that you can turn into party favors. So I have a couple of event planners here in Greenville and surrounding areas that if they need a bath or body product, they reach out to me. Like a lip balm or something they want to add to a bag, or like baby showers. They love shower steamers and things like that. I make them and they can just pick them up, and those event planners service so many people at one time. I have my label on there. A lot of them will have my business cards there just in case somebody wants to reach out to me, and I've gotten a lot of business locally that way. As a thank you for staying and watching the video this long, here is the bonus. Grow the business owner, not just the business. Shermise, what are you talking about? That's the tip? That's what you got? No, that's just the title, I promise. Let me elaborate. Let me cook. Okay, so I realized that once I leveled up myself, once I changed my mindset, then my business was able to level up naturally. Like, I already had all these tips. I already knew what to do. I had already been in business for so long, but there was still a disconnect. So I had to work on my mindset. So I started reading books about self-development, productivity, and of course business books. And I just want to share with you 5 of my favorite books in these sections. So it's not just business, it's not just self-development. So first up is of course Profit First, because I already said this one. I would not know how to pay myself properly and consistently, or really figure out how I can get profit before anything else. I mean, profit first, right? But now I have profit in my business, and I pay myself, and I have different accounts for each thing that I need. So operating expenses, materials, they all have their own money in them. So profit first, hands down. But number 2 is Feel Good Productivity. So this is the first book I picked up back in 2024 after not reading for a very long time. Embarrassing, but you know, better late than never. So this one says how to do more of what matters to you, and legit, he's not playing, because I do a lot. I have wholesale business, retail business, content business, and then a full-time job. So I had to figure that out without being burnt out. And I figured out that I actually was burnt out for a couple years and did not realize. And now I know how to not go back to that, partially because of that book. Next up, Atomic Habits. It's always one people should read no matter what you do. Tiny changes, remarkable results. I'm not even playing about that. They know how to do their taglines. So yes, I learned the power of systems, which was the first tip in this whole thing. Learned the power of systems from this book. Now, I've been told that I have ADHD, and I definitely do have an attention problem. So deep work really helped, because like I said, I have a lot of things to do. So now I know how to just focus on my content when I need to focus on my content, or focus on the business when I need to focus on the business. I have time allotted for each thing, and the combination of all those books, amazing. Now, I don't have my 5th one, which is the E-Myth Revisited. That one helped me from going to just being a maker to actually being a business owner. So at first, of course, I was just making things because I wanted to make things. And then I said I had a business, but it was really a hobby because I was still treating it like a hobby. Figured out how to be an actual business owner from that book. So check those out. I'll have all of those in the description below for you. And the reason why that was the bonus is because me having a business is not just about building and building and building and having a bigger business. It's about having a better life. So I want to make sure that I still enjoy my business, that I have all the systems created for my business so that I can still live my life and still want to be creative. So that's why I wanted to go ahead and just throw those books in there for you. I meant to say this earlier in the video, but you do not have to incorporate all of these at the same time. So maybe you want to focus on one or two and then go from there. So if you ask me, I would say focus on cleaning up your money and protecting your business, because those are really foundational things for your business, and then move on to some of the other ones. In the comments below, let me know what you're going to focus on for the next couple months. And if you've learned anything from this video, please consider liking it. And if you like my channel or like me, please consider subscribing. All right, y'all. I'll see you in the next one.